Welcome to Real Conversations with Johnnie Finch. I am super ecstatic today, more ecstatic than I have been in the last, 6 weeks, because I have an incredible lady that I want you guys to meet. I've been following her on social media since I was in law school. And when I say she is one of the most dynamic people that I know, that is not an understatement. Ladies and gentlemen, I have Miss Evie Jeang here. And when I say she is the voice of family law across the United States, I am not exaggerating at all. Not only that, she has a great business that she runs. I watch her, and when I watch her post, she's always giving value to her audience, and she's always finding a way to give tips on how to maintain mental health. She's an advocate for women. Thank you for so much for coming today. I really appreciate it, and I'm so excited.
Thank you, Johnny. Oh my God, I'm so flattered. That's such a great compliment. Seriously, you're a great host. You always make your guests feel very, very flattered and happy to be on your show. So anytime. I mean, I would be on a show anytime, especially so sweet. So thank you.
Well, and it's not a story when I say that I have literally been emailing you and messaging you for 10 years now. I believe I've only been practicing 10 years, but there was just one blueprint that I always saw, and just you always so happy. It's and we speak about it a lot on the channel when I speak, and I was like, being a lawyer can be a little bit weighing, the job can be a little bit stressful. I don't do any family law, obviously, but the family law that I have seen and done, it can be so stressful. But whenever you're out, you're exercising, you're having fun with your clients. I mean, you just got it all figured out, and that's a lot about what we're trying to do here. Is like how you can excel, make it to the top of your profession, but still have a good time with it. Right before we talk about your legal career, I would like to ask. Tell me about the meditations that you do, because you mention it a lot and I always see
Oh,
it. Could you tell my audience, because
right.
and meditation is big, and most of my audience is North Carolina. It's kind of catching on, but it's bigger on the West Coast where you are. Could you tell us a little bit about meditation, how you were introduced to it, and what it does for you?
It's meditation is such a big part of my daily life now. And just 3 years ago, I would not be able to do meditation because I'm always on the run and I'm always all over the place. So for me, just sit there and just be still for even just 5 minutes, it was such a big challenge. But as you get, just like anything else, once you get used to it and you practice on it, and then you just get longer and longer and longer. And now it's bad because I'm looking forward to being in meditation, because meditation in that space and time is most peaceful time for me. It's my time. And I think part of the meditation is to know that meditation about that stillness is also time for yourself and to learn about self-love. And I think as an attorney, just like yourself, we always service other. And a lot of time we forget that it's just serving other, which that's great. You also have to service yourself. It's just like when you go on the airplane, just saying, put a mask on first before you put a mask on even your children or your elderly, because if you don't save yourself, you don't have enough to give. And I think that took me a while to actually realize that, because my family is an immigrant. I came here, see my parents working hard. So I have this idea that you need to work hard and to prove or to make something out of your life, right? Because it's not like someone just handed to me. So I always thought, I watched my parents, how hard they work, and then I was raised that way. But then in the last few years, I realized that for you to continue to make a commitment to serve other, you can't do that. You don't have that much power when you're not taking care of yourself. And it's kind of like when you go into your house, what's the first thing you notice is the entrance light. And then so your light is you, your inner self. So if your light is not shine, your light is not bright, the rest of the house doesn't light up. It's just dark. And then I think meditation is one of those things that is not just for you to do stillness, but it's also making time for yourself, to love yourself and not feel guilty that you're having that time for yourself. And then that's the thing. And you have a little one, right? Because I know you
Yeah,
just have a
too.
little baby
Yeah.
girl.
A
Yeah.
little boy, little
So
girl.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a little 5-year-old boy, and as a parent, you feel like you just want to give, and give them. It's called unconditional love. So sometimes you have to remind yourself that, okay, I love my client, I love my family, I have like new kids, new children that I need to give so much love to, but you also have to remember to love yourself and to give time to yourself. So yeah. And it's hard because you feel guilty, because as a parent you just feel like I supposed to sacrifice, or I just give them everything I have.
Yeah.
But and I think the best gift you can give your children is also the best version of you. So you need to be you, not fix you, but give yourself the love, so then you can have a better version of you, and then you can present a better version of yourself to your children and to serve to be a better, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I heard you say that you say you actually immigrated here. Did I understand? You say you immigrated to the United States? How old were you when you came over?
Yeah, so my parents, I was 13. So I came to the United States when I was 13. So English is not my first language. My mom was working 2 jobs, and my parents separated. So I was raised by a single mother. I see my mom working really hard, working 2 jobs, and she would be working as a sales lady. Mary Kay, I remember that's back in the day where cosmetic, you
We still
see
have it.
lady
We still have
driving
it
a
in North
pink
Carolina.
Cadillac to make it to the top. So yeah. Oh, we still have that. Okay. So my mom was the Mary Kay sales lady. And then to make us her cash, she was a waitress at the Chinese restaurant all night. And she raised me and my sister, but every money that she earned, she wanted to make sure that we have the best, because she doesn't want us to feel we were behind or were below others. So I always have the newer dresses. I have piano lesson, and she even sent me to private school. So that we don't feel we would below other just because we came from divorced family, or my mom had to work 2 jobs. And because that, like I said, the guilt is play a big part what I do. I always feel guilty if I'm not the best in my class. I feel guilty if I don't win the case. It's always guilt, and the guilt is actually eating me alive for the longest time. It helped me to maybe it helped me to achieve more, and then to try to accomplish more, but it was definitely not good for mental health for myself, right? And so it's like a catch-22. I appreciate the part of it, but I also realized the good thing is I realized that the best version of yourself is to achieve more. You don't need to be based on guilt only. It's because you actually wanted to, right? And then when you have the desire, when you feel like you can do it, you have energy, everything just follows. So, and that's my new philosophy, because you were asking me about how I balance my life. I realized before I was like, go getter. Now I realize that you only have one life. Yeah. And I was reading one of the articles that they were asking all the senior people what was their biggest regret. And then they always say they should have worked out hard, or, and it's true, as an attorney, we are always very adversarial. We want to win the case for our client. Okay, that's what you wanted to do. That's great. So you just win another case and win another case. But at the end of the day, if tomorrow's your last day, are you going to care that you win that case? Or do you know what I mean? So on my blackboard in my bedroom it's a blackboard, and then the thing I said is I live my day as my last. So every morning after I do my gratitude meditation, I think about what I should be so grateful about, and then I look on my board it's a daily reminder that, okay, Evie, what if you're gonna go tomorrow? What would you like to spend your day like? So do you think that make you happy and love? Yeah.
Let me ask you a little more about that. So after you finish your meditation, you actually have a physical board in your bedroom?
Yep, blackboard. Yes, a black green board.
What, like a chalkboard?
It's a chalkboard.
And what do you
So sometimes when I have idea, just random idea that I come up with when I do meditation, or it's a daily reminder, like for me, I realized the reason I feel guilty was because I feel like I'm not doing enough for my parents, or I don't make them proud, because I felt like I didn't work as hard as they did. They came to this country not speaking English, and they worked so hard to support me and my sister. So I feel like I had to prove to them, or I had to make them as whole. To the sacrifice they made is how I paid them back, right? So then part of that is because I felt like I wasn't enough. So one of the things I put on my board is I am enough. And then I learned that from a friend of mine who also is a very famous motivation speaker, Marissa Peer. And she said, put "you're enough" on your mirror, or use your lipstick as a reminder. So I don't want to ruin my lipstick. So I put it on the chalkboard and then say I am enough. And then another thing I try to do is, when think of it in my way, like I feel like there's so many things I wanted to do. I remember, what will I want to do if today is my last day? So, and then once you have that perspective and you question yourself, that a lot of things just kind of don't matter to you anymore. That anger that you have, or the credit that you get from your client who's not appreciative of you, and you just like, okay, you say this to me, that hurt my ego, that hurt my feeling. But if I'm gonna die tomorrow, do I really care? Nah, I worry about you later. I would want to spend more time with my son and tell my son how much I love him, how lucky I am to have him with my son, or something that I didn't get to say before I'm gonna go or do. So when that little thing, or your opposing counsel say, write you something nasty letter, which I get that a lot from family law. I don't know if you get that in criminal, but family law people are vicious, I have to say. And then I just laugh it off now. It's just kind of funny to me, I think it's funny. So, because when you really think about it, what's important, and when someone take that much energy to write you this nasty letter, you just think, wow, they really don't have anything else, or they really don't have any other life, because there's so many things I would rather do than spend my time writing you a nasty letter. So
exactly. And, guys, listen, as you can see, I just appreciate Evie Jeang coming today. Number one, because she has such a good heart and she's willing to share it with us. I'm gonna make sure that I post a link. She has a great podcast called Evie Unbound, where she goes to go into all her life. She lets you know her heart. She lets her, her aspirations for women, her struggles, and she's very transparent as she's been today. And I really, really appreciate it. And I'm sure my North Carolina audience appreciated it as well. So at what point did you decide that you wanted to be a lawyer?
Well, I was little, because my parents divorced when I was 4. So my grandparents were the one that raised us. So my mom was working really hard, and she would send money home to my grandma for taking care of us. And my grandma used to.
Where did your grandma live?
Taiwan. So we were in Taiwan, and then she would ride her little bike. I would sit behind the bike. We would go to courthouse just to see the hearing, right? Because most of the hearing, just like here, are public, unless it's, juvenile or confidential family. Most of the time, it's public. Mm-hmm. And then there would be a judge sitting in the middle, and I see 2 people argue the cases. And I actually didn't want it to be a lawyer. I actually wanted to be the judge. So I was like, wow, the judge is so powerful, because she or he was the one that making decision. And then I see these 2 people wanting to sue. It's like totally kissing up to this person. I want to be the one that people kissing up to, right? So, as I was like 6 or 7, as a 6, 7-year-old girl, and you're like, wow, this is the power that you can get. I want that power. But now you ask me if I want to be a judge. No, thank you. I wouldn't want to be a judge at all, because I want my freedom. I want to be dancing on the bar table in Mexico City. I want to be skinny dipping in Caribbean island. I don't want to care about what picture is on my social media. And then I don't want to be like, oh, I can't have dinner with you, I can't have lunch with you, or I can't have this conversation with you because it's against the ethic. I can't express my opinion about certain thing or my idea. You know what? I'm going to say whatever I want to. I'm going to do whatever makes me happy. So I don't want to follow by the rule. So it's kind of funny. I still become a lawyer. I don't follow the rule. I follow my own rule. So, and then that what lawyers good, finding a loophole, twist the rule, or I don't know. So yeah, so I realized lawyers actually a better career for me than being a judge, because the judge, you have to follow by the law, and you have to be unbiased. There's too many restriction, which restriction doesn't do for me. It doesn't do well with me.
Yeah,
so
exactly. I still think you would make a great judge, though, just because of your perspectives. And certainly you have great ethics. So I mean, if that happens, I'm in North Carolina, but I'll definitely come over and be on the campaign whenever the pandemic is.
Thank you.
Just wait about
but then
wait about 6
but then there won't be any.
Yes, ma'am. No, I just said just wait about 6 months.
But
travel again.
But there won't be any. Then I won't be able to have my social media, because I see all the judges. They can't have any friend on Facebook or social media and stuff like that. I think that's way too sad. Life is just so much fun when you meet so many interesting people, and then just kind of like having a great discussion, So
and that's how I was able to meet and follow and realize how wonderful you are. So did anything about your parents splitting up have to do with you actually going into family law, or is that something you decided once you were a lawyer that you wanted to go into family law?
Actually, the funny thing about that, because my parents divorced, my mom was like, if you are a lawyer, do not ever go into family law. And I was like, okay. So I never think I was going to family law. I was actually, once I graduated, because English, I'm bilingual, I can read and write Chinese. So I actually got a job offer with international law firm in Taiwan. So I was going to go do that. But then, but I also want to be a DA. So my first job was child support officer for LA County. And somehow from there, I actually really good at it. I guess because I understand it. And then as a 4-year-old, when your parents divorced, I was the messenger going back and forth. And then I realized that family was my calling, because I'm not representing the party, to be honest with you. I really like to represent the children.
Yeah.
So I realized the divorce has such a big impact on the kids. And a lot of times those parents are so emotionally charged that they forgot what's more important to both of them, which is their children. But instead helping the children, they actually use their children as the way to hurt the other party. So my goal is, when they have to go through this divorce or it's going through this process, I wanted to make sure that the children's protected and they can work this out in the best, least harmful way for the children. Because I was one of those kids, and I didn't see my dad. My mom would not let me see my dad. So for the longest time, I thought my dad doesn't love me.
Yeah.
And for a little girl, you have a daughter. The girl's always daddy's little girl. So so when you're growing up, your mom telling you can't see your dad doesn't love you, and even though he didn't say that, you feel that way. It kind of traumatizing in your dating life, right? As you're growing up as a teenager girl. So I wanted to make sure, when party had to go do the divorce, and make it clear that it's between them two. It had nothing to do with the children. But sadly, is most party are not thinking that way, because they're so emotionally charged, like I said, and I get it. I understand that. But I just have to keep reminding them, part of divorce is make sure you don't say anything against the other parents. You don't hold a child hostage, prevent another parent to see the children. That is not fair for the children. You don't just hold off on the money, not paying for child support and let them starve, or not getting the indication or the resource that your children deserve or need, would be very traumatically helpful, right? So those are the things that made me really enjoy doing family law. Yeah.
Oh, man. Again, guys, and I'm gonna post it twice. Evie Unbound. You guys have to listen to the podcast. It's so interesting. So
Thank you.
but it seems like you kind of honed your lawyer skills a little earlier, because if you had to be the messenger between mom and dad, I'm sure that you couldn't, whatever it was that mom said, you couldn't go and say the exact words to dad, and whatever dad said, you probably didn't.
Exactly.
And we do that, we obviously do that with lawyers. We're like, okay, so this is what we're kind of looking at doing, and you leave out the curse words. Not saying that they were cursing, but we have to do that at the time. So that was probably your early lawyer training, which it's funny how things always come full circle. One and this is the thing.
Yeah.
So I have you here today, and I want to talk about you, the person, so much, but I cannot let my North Carolina audience not hear about the surrogacy side of your law firm, because that is so big. And obviously I've never known anybody to do it. I know some states don't even allow you to do it. How did you get into representing surrogacy?
Right.
And if you don't mind, just kind of tell my audience what it is, just in case they don't know. I think they may have an idea, but I need some training as well, because I don't think we have it in North Carolina yet.
Okay, so I never know if I want to have a family, right? I never know if family is something that I wanted to have, just because being the divorced family myself.
Wait. So when you say family, you mean like husband, wife, child, family? Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Not extended.
So
not your parents.
Well,
okay, gotcha.
Right. I just didn't know if I ever want to have my own family, because what I went through, and then I just thought, just too much headache, too much heartache. I don't even want that. And I'm perfectly happy being by myself, graduating from law school, practicing family law. Life is great. But a really good friend of mine had breast cancer, and she is a doctor, and she said, why don't you freeze your leg, because you never know, and you constantly changing and evolving, and that's what life is. You move, you learn through your life. And she said, why don't you just freeze your egg? If you ever change your mind, you could do that, because she was offered to freeze her egg because she was a cancer patient. And so the doctor recommended to her, but no doctor ever recommended that to a healthy woman. And I was 28, 29. I was pretty healthy and young, and there's no reason for any doctor to recommend me to do that. But anyway, I froze my egg. Okay. And times go on, and I was being cheap. I don't want to pay for frozen costs. And by the time I was 36 or 35, 36, I was like, no, I'm sick of paying this frozen egg thing. If I'm going to use it, I'm going to use it. If I'm not going to use it, I'm just going to discard them, because I'll give it to my gay cousin, because it's such a great parent. It would be lovely parents. And I just don't want to pay anymore. So I ended up asking all my ex-boyfriend and guy friends to see if any one of them wanted to donate their sperm. And I remember I was in Miami and having this drink with one of my guy friends. I wasn't even dating him yet, and I was telling him, would you can I have your sperm? And I was thinking about having a kid. And then I remember that he was drinking beer and he choked on his beer. And he did not want to drop me off back in the hotel. He did, but he hurried up and left because he was thinking I'm going to trick him or something like that. I have no idea. I have no idea. And then I have asked my other ex-boyfriend, and they were like, oh, okay, let's go back to the hotel room. I'm like, no. It's very medical, clinical. We can set up an appointment, and then, they lead to the room. Back then was like VHS, right, still, or CD. I was like, and they play some CD, and then you just donate your sperm, right? And they're like, oh, I don't even get the benefit of it. So anyways, I went to a couple of them. So I ended up having my ex-husband's sperm, and so we thought we were gonna work things out together. So he decided to do that. Obviously, that doesn't work. You should never marry somebody or get back with somebody because of the child, right? Because
Okay.
you either connect or you're not. Partnership, like I said, it have nothing to do with the children.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's how I met my son. And I had a Colombian woman who's still a friend of mine, to carry my son. And during the process, do that, people were criticizing me of, this is like, why would you want to do that if you're healthy? And then I think it's an option, because to me is that it's my body. I can choose how I want to. And I know I'm a woman. I don't feel like I need to live my life to experience giving birth. Everybody have their own opinion, and I respect that. So I just feel like this is your life. You only have one life, right? So how would you want to experience your one life? And this is how I want to experience my one life of unconditional love, because I was told there's no other love that you have but for your children. It's like your children's the one that apparently you would jump in front of the car just to save their life. You probably won't even do that for your partner, but you would do that for your children. So I said, okay, that's the love, that unconditional love that I want to experience in my human lifetime, because I wanted to experience that love. So I know I want to be a mom, but I don't necessarily need to feel the birth, the miracle. That's not an experience I'm interested. So I just don't want to do it. So that's what happened. And some people said, well, so what's the point of you being a woman if part of being a woman, your purpose is giving birth? I'm like, oh no, we have so much purpose. We have so many purpose. You don't even want to get me started. If you're telling me my purpose of women is only giving birth, that doesn't give me power, because I'm more than that. So I can provide so much more. And what happened to women who cannot give birth because of their health issue, right? So are you telling me they don't serve the purpose? No. So I think that for women, your purpose, not just giving birth. You have so many purpose. You can do so many great things. It shouldn't just based on giving birth. So
now,
so that's what happened.
So to be clear, your ex-husband gave sperm to your friend.
To me, to my surrogate mother, yes. And it's my egg, and then his sperm, and then my surrogate mother, who now is my friend Ella, was our surrogate for my son.
So your egg and his sperm went into your friend?
Yes.
And then she became pregnant.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't.
I didn't. No. No, that was good. You asked. So it's gestational surrogate.
I'm sure my audience in North Carolina didn't know that either. That was how it worked. I didn't know that they would actually take something from your body and his body and put it into her. I thought that they would take his sperm and put it into her. Wow, that's the whole process. Woo! Wow. So was that the beginning of your surrogate side of your international practice, or were you?
Yes. And then when I realized that, when I realized that, so in Asia, you cannot do surrogate. And in the United States, we recognize same-sex marriage. But in Asia, in many countries, there's no recognition of same-sex marriage. And I'm a total believer that equal love, right? And that they're probably a better parents than some other parents. It doesn't matter your sex orientation or gender. Whoever want to be a good parent to give love to the children, they deserve it. And so I start helping a lot of LGBTQIA community to create the family they always wanted or dreamed of. So, and I'm also helping a lot of couple that infertility is an issue for them, and that they don't have the option like we do have in California and some of the states in the United States. So they can at least now have the dream come true and create a family they want, and they have the option and do it legally to make this happen. So and then instead of breaking people apart in family law, I feel this is a better feel for me because I'm creating family instead of
Yeah.
breaking family. Yeah.
Yeah. So so after you had your son, his name, what's your son's name?
Evan.
Evan. Hey, Evan, I saw Evan a little earlier. Did you explain to him the process or?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
He just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I can see him now. Okay, I got it. I see. Oh man,
Yeah.
listen, this
Yeah.
conversation we're having today is hopefully just a bridge, guys. Again, I'm going to post her podcast, all her Instagram, so that you can go and follow this lady. She is so entertaining. She takes the greatest trips. She does meditations. I mean, she is all over the place. She's killing it. We didn't get as much into the women's advocacy portion today, but I know that she's got clients that she's got to work hard for. I just wanted to give you guys just a little bit. Listen, I appreciate you so much. And if you don't mind, just take about 1 or 2 minutes just to speak to my North Carolina crowd and just let them know a little bit of words of encouragement. And we're going to go ahead and get out of here. And I appreciate you.
Thank you. What I would say to your audience is that have trust and have faith, especially during this time. It all shall pass. I know everybody is going through a hard time right now, and especially people with mental issue, because you feel very alone. And even for me, someone like me who very outgoing and loves socializing, it's hard, it's difficult. But just remember, this is all temporary, and this is not your whole life. You still have long life to go, and this shall pass. It's just like clock, it's kicking, it's keep moving. So, yeah.
Real Conversations with Evie Jeang. Thank you so much for coming, guys. We are out.
Thank you. Thank you.